Okay, so the first item is simply to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Would anyone like to, getting the official words for this, move that we accept the minutes?
So moved.
Second? Okay, all those in favor, just say aye. Or raise your
Aye.
hand. Great, okay. So the minutes have
I'm
been,
going to abstain.
you're going to abstain?
I'm going to abstain since I wasn't there.
Okay, so that gives us Christine, I can't see you. Are you approving your minutes?
Yeah, I can,
Great.
okay, I can hear you and you can hear me, but I guess you don't see me when I'm typing.
Right. Yeah, I
so-
just wanted to be sure we had a majority on accepting the minutes. And I
Yes.
think- Yeah, okay. First, thank you, everybody, for being able to attend this meeting at such short notice. We will have our regularly scheduled meeting on the 30th, but a couple of things have come up that we really need to address. And so the first one is the location of the garden. So as you know, the select board, Elaine may be able to speak more to this than I, but has made the decision that it will be located at lot, how is that, just 032? 032?
032. Yeah.
Okay.
032. And part of the reason for that was because of the issue with parking, et cetera. They were, it was just going to be a problem. It was going to be a problem for their community market, the farmer market in the front and everything. And it was just, they just together, both the select board and the library trustees. The library trustees, first of all, were the ones who made the decision to go to 032 versus the back of the town hall, and then the select board unanimously agreed with them.
Hi, BC.
Hi,
Hi, BZ.
how's it going?
Good. We've just started discussing the moving the location of the garden. So one of the, I guess the first thing for us to discuss is how people feel about changing location of the library so that it is at lot 032, close to the library.
Well, I'll speak for myself. First of all, I think that we would like to have the library be contiguous with the garden. I think that's a really important thing. The synergy between the two is really good. And I also know that Becky is very concerned about people having to going into town hall and using the bathroom and trying to, they just tend to go to her for issues. And so she was afraid that she was going to be getting a lot of stuff happening with her around the garden that she doesn't want to get involved in. We also would not have to have people carrying, I call it schlepping things all the way down to the back in wheelbarrows or whatever. And we also would not need the water tank because we would have a well there, and they would put out outdoor faucets for that. And also, to be honest, the ground is better back there on lot 032. The actual, it's flat. It's pretty, it's much more viable garden wise. So those would be my suggestions.
Okay. It sounds like they're falling into 3 categories. The one is just has to do with the benefits of being close to the library. And so if there's other comments on that. The second one has to do with it reduces, the way I put this, but reduces stress on town hall in terms of parking, in terms of people using the facilities. And then the third one are things that are very specific to, this is a better location for the garden.
Mhm.
So those seem to be the three categories.
I also
Um,
think, can I chime in here for a minute?
But of course.
I also think visibility is really important because I think having the gardens near the library, people see them, people will be like, oh, what's happening over there? I think we enhance the library.
Yep.
And we could grow things that, would be seen from a distance, and they could, just be visibility of the gardens. Instead of, we're back on the behind town hall, it's just way back in the corner. People will just sort of forget about them.
Yeah.
This way it's very visible. And I also think parking's a really important issue, that we'll have places for people to park that, like as Elaine said, is closer to the library. And, I'd like to get a composting thing going.
Mhm.
I was at South Hadley today at their community gardens, and they have a big composting operation. So if people are returning their books, they can bring their compost, it
Mhm.
sort of would be you wouldn't have to have a community garden plot to bring compost to get composted. And, anyway.
I think that's another topic because I've had a conversation with Meryl on the waste committee, whatever, what they're called, and they're wanting to do composting also.
Great. Well, they could do it there. It all could be
Yep.
together at the same
Yep.
place.
Yeah,
I think
I'm gonna
it-
move. I'm gonna be moving, so.
Oh. You're moving to another town?
I'm moving to another room.
It looks like you're sailing because we can't see your feet. It's like you're just floating. It's very
Floating
interesting.
away.
Ooh. Okay, so we have lots of good reasons to propose. The other thing is, what is the process? This I don't know. What is it that we now need to do? Certainly a vote would be an internal thing that we need to do, but where does this request go?
It goes to the Community Preservation Committee, which I am on, and we are meeting on Monday, and I've asked to put it on the agenda.
Okay, so would it be helpful then if I write up what we've just said so that you have sort of talking
Yep.
points and something? Okay, so
Yes, please.
I can do that very easily.
Can
Do
I
we
ask
need to vote on it as a
We
committee?
do need to vote on this.
Can
Mhm.
I just ask a question? I agree completely with everything that's been said, but am I correct in my understanding that the library, okay, that's where it will be, if it will be, but it isn't definite that it will be? Yes, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're one
Yeah.
of two towns, I think, to get this
Mhm.
grant.
Oh, really? Oh, you
Yeah.
mean two towns are gonna get it? But
No, I
there's
think two towns are in the running for us, from what I
One
understand.
town is gonna get it.
One town's
Uh,
gonna get it.
what's
And
the
then
other-
then it has to pass,
Right, yeah,
with a
yeah.
town vote.
Right, yeah. And if it happens, it will be built, like, when will the building on it begin?
Probably 2023.
Okay.
So
So
we could start with the garden. I
Oh, we
think
could.
as long as we know the site, and how they're going to site the library, then we can figure out how we're going to site the garden. But it might be that our garden idea is going to be on hold for longer than we thought. And that's why I wanted to go to the Community Preservation Committee and talk to them about it, if we vote for this, so that they know. And that, I mean, they might say no. They might say we have to go back for a town vote, which is possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we could do that next spring.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but the whole thing might be a little bit slower than we thought. But they
Right.
might not be so bad,
Mhm.
We have a lot of things we can do.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
And we have other projects too, so.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just working on the language right now for what we're going to be voting on. So let me just say this and then edit it in any way. If construction of a new library at lot 032 is approved and the funding received, I hadn't written down the next part. Okay, the Recreation Committee. What's the verb I want?
Proposes,
Proposes, thank you. Locating the community garden contiguous to the library or
Adjacent to.
adjacent to, okay. I'll read it again, adjacent to library. So because there were a lot of contingencies, so I thought I would put those up front.
Mhm.
If construction of a new library at lot 032 is approved and the funding received, the Recreation Committee proposes locating the community garden adjacent to the library.
perfect.
Christine, do you want me to say it again?
Do you feel I need to have the text in the notes?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, you want to just send me the
Sure.
paragraph and I'll insert it?
Okay, I will do that, absolutely.
That, it was just a sentence or two, but it seems
It's
like.
just a sentence, yeah. I'll do that right after the meeting. I'm very bad at figuring out how to do other things.
Or you can say it again. Why don't you go ahead and say it?
No,
Sorry.
Oh, no, I can do it immediately. Okay.
Okay, if whatever works. I mean, yeah. Okay.
I want to make it easier on you, so I will send you the wording immediately upon
Okay.
this meeting being over. Okay. I can do that. All right. So is there any further discussion on this?
Do we want to say something about, this may postpone the beginning of our, like the timing of this so that we want to be able to have that money available to us, even if we don't start for a year and a half or 2 years.
Mhm.
I don't think that has to be in our vote. Our vote
It's
is
a,
to move it.
no, but if we write a letter to the,
I think that what we
CPC.
can, here's a suggestion, what we can already say, and this could go into some of the reasons, is that it's already been delayed.
Mhm.
We had
Oh,
originally
true.
planned on starting
Yeah.
spring 2022, so this does not delay it any further than that. We would still
Okay, that's
be,
good.
yeah, so it's not making any change to that.
Okay, that's good. That might not be a bad thing to include, though.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna make a note of that. Okay, so basically the postponement, the postponement is not changed. All right.
I mean, I don't think people are generally opposed to the community gardens per se,
Mhm.
but there are people we know that are opposed to a library of any kind. And by
Exactly.
us hitching our wagon to them, are they then going to be
Hmm.
opposed to community gardens too? I mean,
Well, who cares? We already have.
I'm just
voted.
saying, it's a risk we take and we're obviously going to do it, but
Mhm. Although it sounds like the risk is less about whether we can have the community garden because that's already been approved. It's where it would be located.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I did a little bit more digging, and there's quite a lot of information about libraries and gardens being connected. Apparently during World War II, it was a big thing with what were those gardens called? The Victory Gardens.
Yeah,
So there's quite a long history of
interesting.
libraries and gardens being connected.
Let's vote on the motion that you have there.
Okay, so
First.
I will read it one more time. Is there any further discussion? Okay. The construction of a new library at lot.
You have to speak, you have to get closer to the,
Okay, I maybe start breaking up. Let's see. If construction of a new library at lot 032 is approved and the funding received, the Recreation Committee proposes locating the community garden adjacent to the library.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor, just raise your hand. And that is unanimously approved. All right,
You know, another benefit to it is, I noticed you had something in the notes about shared tools and personal tools. We could actually have a lending library of tools.
great idea.
Oh, that's a nice idea. Oh, bathrooms too, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we're set with that, and we'll have that, I'll have that to you probably by the end of the day tomorrow for you to have at that meeting.
Okay.
So the second thing is the Kestrel Trust and the Janet that's land. Let me just give a brief little background on what happened. So after our last meeting, I sent an email to the Kestrel Trust that simply said, and I went back and double checked these, it simply said, we as a committee are interested in understanding the process for creating accessible paths. I got a response back that said, we are so happy that you wrote us and that you support the creation of accessible trails at this property, which is not what I said. So I wrote back and I just said, oh, this is very exciting that you're thinking about this, and let us know ways in which we might be able to help you. I got another email from someone else saying, we are so excited that you support, which I still have not said. So I have not called them back or emailed them back because I can't speak, obviously, as an individual. We as a committee have not talked about any of this. And there's now a new development, which I would like to have Elaine talk about because it came to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm, as I said, I'm on the Community Preservation Committee, and the Kestrel Trust folks have contacted Community Preservation to see if we will, with our monies, help support rebuilding the accessible trails and making an accessible trail. And in order for that to happen, I think it's a real positive. It's a Community Preservation has four buckets of money, and we get money every year from taxes, but also from the state. And one of them is for recreation, one of them is for building projects, and one of them is for restoration projects, and the other one is for just our committee use. So a recreation, it would be, I mean, we can't use the money for anything else. And so it sits there and waits for a recreation project. And that's why it was so great to have the garden project.
Eric's got a hand truck too.
Because we could use that pot of money. And so now they're asking to also use that pot of money to build the accessible trails. And in order to do that, they need a committee sponsor. And it doesn't mean that we have to get involved or anything. We could if we wanted to, but they need a town committee sponsor in order to use community preservation money. So they are coming to the community preservation meeting on Monday, and that's going to be the first time that we are going to talk about it. So I mean, they're going to put forward a proposal. It will get voted on in the Community Preservation Committee as to whether their full proposal can go forward. We will vote in December, and then their full proposal will be accepted or rejected in the end of January, and we'll have public hearings, and then it goes to town meeting. So it's a long, a year process, but they do need a committee sponsor.
Okay, So what are, because I don't really understand what the pros and cons of this committee being a sponsor, what would that mean for
Nothing.
us? Any pros, cons to it?
It just means that we would be the ones who stand up and support it. Just like you did, I mean, just like exactly what you did for the garden, except we wouldn't be doing the project. The project would actually be completed and done by the Kestrel Trust, and they would be taking charge of it.
Okay. Would it be premature for us to vote on whether we would want to be that sponsor, the committee sponsor at this point?
I don't think it would be premature if we're interested in doing it, that we would be, I think we should probably couch it as we would consider it and we would be interested in doing it. And it, it depends on fleshing out what the proposal is and what they would expect of us. But in order for them to even kind of go partly forward, they really do need to know that there's a committee that'll support them, that'll sponsor them.
Okay, so I'm gonna need, well, so two things
Mhm.
that we need to do before I draft a statement are just, what are people's thoughts about supporting Kestrel, or more generally, having accessible trails in that property?
I think accessible trails is a great idea. I would probably be very in favor of supporting them. I think we should get a fleshed out proposal of what supporting them means before we actually sort of officially vote to be their sponsor.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I second that.
Oh, I muted you, Bart, BZ. Sorry, you have to unmute yourself. Yeah, because, there we go.
So what would that all, finding out what that would really mean to support them, what they want, just a paper support or they want actual physical support,
Okay, so
Oh.
he sent us a request. This is Chris Volante, who's stewardship director for Kestrel Land Trust. And he said that I'm reaching out because Kestrel's contemplating a CPA request, that's community preservation, in the recreation category to support the restoration of the trail and boardwalk network at Ames Pond. And he's collaborating with SWCA, which I do not know what SWCA is, to prepare a grant request for the CPC's review. They offered to preview the project, and they need to initiate. They're going to initiate permitting processes with the Conservation Committee, and they're going to do everything.
Right. So my question is, what do they want from us other than just support, verbal support?
They need to have a town committee. With community preservation funds, you need to have a town committee that's a sponsor.
SWCA is an environmental consultant firm in Amherst.
Okay.
Oh, thank
I
you.
just looked it up.
Well, you're quick.
You can always look everything up on Google.
Yep.
I'm sorry, could somebody clarify, is it CPC or CPA?
Community Preservation Committee. So
Okay.
it's CPC, and Community Preservation Act is CPA.
Okay.
So Elaine, are they asking the committee for funds?
No, they're asking the Community Preservation Committee for funds. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this is probably a little too weedy, but it was interesting in that sentence that you read. It said that they were looking for recreation funds for a restoration project. But when you were talking, you said restoration and recreation are two separate buckets of money. So Does your
Restoration,
committee get to kind of move the money around or?
no, what we talk about with restoration was like the Hearst House on Leverett Road was restored, and it's building restoration and things like that. And like Old Town Hall is being restored. So that kind of thing is what I meant for restoration. This would definitely be just recreation.
So at this point, do we need to do anything at all? I mean, I could simply write back and say, we're excited about this. The committee will need to discuss and vote on whether we sponsor them, or I want some help with the wording of that. Or is there something that we can state and that we vote on that I can then say to them, we've talked about it and here's what we've said?
I think we need, oh, go ahead, Christine.
I think you're saying the same thing, Elaine, is we want to know exactly what is the definition of support? Is it manual, financial? You know, work the trails, like what is it that they define it, I guess, right?
I think that it's less than that, like, just like the building committee had to be the town committee that supported the building of the low-income housing and the Habitat for Humanity house. Nobody on the building committee, I don't think, lifted a finger for that project, but it needed it, according to the way the legislation for the Community Preservation Act is written, it has to have support, which means there's a committee in the town that says, yes, we've looked at this and we agree that this is an important thing to do. Sometimes the committee, like with the gardens, sometimes the committee actually does provide the muscle for it and actually does the project, but other times it's just that they're kind of the go-to committee. If something goes wrong or something happens, the town would go through that committee and say, you talk to them. Or actually with the Habitat for Humanity home, nobody talked to the building committee about it. Everybody just went right through to Habitat for Humanity. And I'm assuming that with this one, the Kestrel Trust would just take it over, and it would just be that we said that we thought it was a good idea, because the town committee has to say that it's a good idea. That's basically what we have to do. That's what the support means.
So it's
And
no
how-
big deal.
No,
I
mean-
vote yes.
Should we just go ahead and offer them our support now?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think.
sure, because
Okay.
that way they can put it into their initial request.
Okay, I'm gonna need some help with, because we'll do a vote on this. I'm gonna need some help with the language. Could someone propose some language of what we're voting on?
The Recreation Committee proposes, no, wait a minute. The Recreation Committee agrees to be the town committee that would support the Kestrel Land Trust request for community preservation funds from the town.
Okay, let me read this and then we can edit.
Okay.
Make sure I also got what you said. The Recreation Committee agrees to be the town committee supporting the Kestrel Land Trust request for CPA funds from the town to create accessible what's the next, to create accessible,
To,
I don't know what the wording is
I'm
for
looking
this.
at
accessible.
To support the restoration of the trail and boardwalk network at Ames Pond on Wendell Road.
There's
I'm
nothing in
reading
there.
it right from his
Okay.
request.
Well, there's nothing in there that suggested that it's making it accessible though, is there?
Yeah,
Well, maybe, I think first it might not even be able to be accessible until they work on it more,
Hmm,
at least from the way I see it. They need a
Okay.
little more work.
Okay.
but would we want before we support it formally, would we want it in writing, like their commitment that these are going to include accessible trails or paths?
Well, according to, what he wrote to the Community Preservation Committee says, we hope to bring the trail network not only to its original condition, but to make improvements, including an accessible component that will make the pond both a community gem and a place that many people can enjoy. So their focus is on making at least that initial part of it accessible. So they would get the path out there and get to the boardwalk that you could go along in the beginning. I don't think they could make the whole thing accessible,
Yeah.
Right.
but they could make an initial part of it. So that is definitely their intent,
Okay.
is accessibility.
So let me run this by again. So the committee agrees to be the town committee supporting the Kestrel Land Trust request for CPA funds from the town. To support the restoration-
We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Hopefully I'm not gonna get lost. The Recreation Committee agrees to be the town committee supporting the Kestrel Land Trust request for CPA funds from the town to support the restoration and improvement of the trails at, and then the name of the property.
Mhm.
Is that what we're gonna vote on?
I think so.
Any discussion before we vote? Okay. So all those in favor of accepting this, just raise your hand. And I think the other Christine's hand is probably there. We had a thumbs up earlier. We can confirm. And again, I can send the language to you, Christine, as soon as the meeting is over. If that would be helpful. Okay.
I did actually write that as you were saying it.
Oh, okay.
Just the other one would be good.
Okay, sure. Wow. Well, we're zooming through these things. Okay, the third one is, BC brought up the idea last time of scheduling a walk of the committee around Ames Pond. And then we talked about then sponsoring some walks with, where different committee members will meet at a certain time and kind of have a general invitation to members of the town to walk around. So step one is finding a time when we can all walk around the pond. And I don't know if there's any suggestions of time. I'm looking at the outside right now. I think I know 4 o'clock on Tuesday's work, but I think it might get a little dark. So that's probably not so good. Would it be, I actually have 2 suggestions. One is push the time a little bit earlier on a Tuesday. And the second would be to do a Friday after Thanksgiving, first thing in the morning.
I
Family
wouldn't be
member.
able to do that one.
I
No.
can't do that because I'm not
Okay.
going to be around.
Oh, okay. So
Christine,
how would,
how
go
about
ahead.
if Christine, who are our 2 working
yes,
members, be the ones who decide what a good time would be?
that's good. Thank you.
How long, I've been meaning to go over and check out his land. I don't know anything about it. How long is the walk? Like, are we
It's
talking
about
about?
3 miles total.
Okay, so how long does it take?
That takes an hour.
An hour, okay. So,
I mean, if you
Yeah.
stop to look at all the sculptures, it can be a little longer, but
mhm. So I guess an afternoon where it's not getting dark at all, because I get very cold. I just get insanely cold. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. But like as late as possible, but where it's not getting dark and colder would be my preference. I can't do Fridays at all. What about you, Christine? What time or days work for you? You're flexible?
Yeah, I make my own schedule so I can, work with you guys,
Okay.
I'm psyched.
So how about a 3 o'clock? Would that work for you?
Yes, there are days that could work for sure. So,
Okay.
it gets dark by 3 o'clock though.
No, no, I was
No.
still out mowing leaves. It's okay. It's not gonna be dark.
All right.
And I've done that trail enough times that I can get you back, I think.
Yay.
I can imagine the headlines, Recreation Committee disappears, dragging Anne with them.
Okay, so let's pick a day.
Okay.
Is next week is gonna be tough, I think. How
Yeah.
about
I can't do next week at all. for
How
sure.
about the Tuesday what about the day that we have our meeting scheduled anyway?
Why
think
don't we have
that's
a walking meeting? Has there
I was
ever been a
just
wa-
thinking that. I was hoping someone would suggest that.
I don't think we can do that.
Really? Even if we announce it? Okay, well, we could meet at,
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
Who do we have to ask?
I'll ask Becky. I'll
Okay.
ask Becky if that's legit for us to have our meeting as we're walking. Have a meeting there. But I mean, we'll all be there. So according to the rules, we really do need to probably post it as a meeting. So
Right.
all right, we'll wait to hear back, but we'll plan. The other thing is we can wait to do we could push the meeting off a week as well.
okay,
So,
so
the official
the
meeting.
30th. And
Yeah. The 30th at 3? Okay,
at 3. Does everybody know
Alrighty.
where to go?
No, not really.
Well, do you want to meet at the post office and we can drive together?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, what'd you guys say? 3 o'clock
3 o'clock.
yeah,
at the post office
No, 2:45 at the post office.
on the 30th?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Ooh, dog.
alrighty. And I will wait till I hear from you to post the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay,
Wear orange. It's going to be hunting season.
right. Thank you. I'll wear my orange hat. Okay, so we're set with that. And does that time work for you? I know you also are working.
It might. I will try to make it work.
Okay, good.
I don't have any meetings at that time, so.
Okay. And then one of the things I'll put on the agenda is for the next meeting, wherever that might be, will be sponsoring walks to take people around and get them familiar with that property. So our fourth one is we currently have unused funds that have to be spent. And thank you, Elaine is the one who prompted me or told me, didn't prompt me. She told me. I was kind of blissfully unaware. That does not need to go in the minutes. The chair is blissfully unaware that we have $1,000 to spend by June 30th, and then another $1,000 will automatically be allocated for the next fiscal year.
Unless we ask for other funds.
Unless we ask for other funds, right? So at this point, I think perhaps that's the major question is there a reason to ask for additional funds over the $1,000 that we would be allocated?
Maybe.
I don't know either. Yeah.
It might be nice to, as Mary Ann has suggested, that maybe we buy some snowshoes. So that kind of
Just
like the
thinking that.
kayaks
Mhm.
that they have for loan, that we could buy some snowshoes for
Mhm.
loan. I don't know that she would be willing to put it in with all the library loan, but we might want to think about that for ourselves, and we could set it up somehow.
Mhm. Yep.
And so, how many pairs would we want to purchase? Do we want to have some fishing poles for, people to loan out? Do we want to have some speakers coming in that will start talking about community gardens and to talk about sustainable agriculture, or to talk about composting? Do we want money to, start working on a composting project that happens even before the garden gets started? I mean, those are all just things that I'm throwing out there that we could definitely spend our money on.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think there will be any problem spending the $1,000. I already had also put down snowshoes to loan. Another one would be, and I don't know if this has ever been done, is a day of orienteering, at a
Mm.
very basic level for people. I happened to take a walk with someone this morning who just did an orienteering for the first time, and she just said it was unbelievably fun.
Mhm.
And I'm sure we could either hire somebody who could come and set it up, or perhaps there's somebody in town who could do that, but that might be a fun thing to do in the spring. So yeah, we'll have no difficulty with that at all. The question is whether we want to then get more than the $1,000, make a request for more than $1,000, which I guess would have to happen pretty fast because the deadline actually has already gone by.
Well, the deadline's gone by, but the initial budget hasn't been put together yet,
Okay.
because they're still talking to committees through December and January. But it's kind of, it's kind of like, you start with very watery stuff and you end up with concrete, and we're kind of in the mid phase where you could, we could do some sort of thing. So if somebody wanted to research how much snowshoes would cost and the number of snowshoes we'd want, and somebody else wanted to research the orienteering program, if somebody wanted to research the composting, we just need to have a reason for an increase if we wanted it.
Okay.
Can I throw out another idea?
Please.
How would it work? Could we put a sign up on lot 032 just saying community gardens coming soon? And then it would just sort of be, again, the visibility of the project heightens, the project. I mean, it doesn't have to, like we say, it's not, even if the library doesn't happen, we could have the gardens there. But
It would
just
make-
to have a sign, what do you think about that?
I have two comments. One is I like the idea conceptually, but the soonest it would be there will be spring of 2023. So that's quite a long ways off.
All right,
The
maybe
other is,
community gardens not coming soon.
yeah,
I would talk to the mayor of Shutesbury if I were you. Easy.
Yeah, I mean-
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have, oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to make the suggestion that perhaps everybody come up with 2 ideas about ways they might see the money being spent, and then research it. So that coming into the next meeting, we have a list of ideas. There may be some overlap among them, that's fine. But just whatever idea you come up with, research what it's going to cost.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
I'll
Sounds
look
good.
into how much snowshoes cost. I'll do that.
Okay. So, and then then if everybody can all just come up with another one as well, so that we have, you know, if everybody comes up with 2 ideas of things, whatever those
Uh-huh.
might be. Think of something, I mean, for example, Anne, you brought up some ideas last time, which would probably be, could potentially be free, but wouldn't it be nice to hire somebody who could come as a teacher for a day with cross-country skiing?
Mhm.
You know, to help people learn to do that. So some of these things that we perhaps can rely on people within the community who have the expertise. Well, one, we might want to just reimburse them.
Mhm.
Oh, and also this is this is related. I was out for a walk the other day and I stumbled across, well, not literally, but past Zoe, who lives up the road and does the sustainable gardening. And
Mm.
I just said, you know, we would love to benefit from your expertise. She was so excited. She said, oh, I've been looking for an opportunity. She was so excited.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
you know, she would, you know, that would be another idea, but I'm sure she would do it for free, but, you know, it would also be nice to compensate her for her time. But her garden is amazing, and to get her to do some things, but she was, I mean, I didn't expect her to be that excited. It was like, she was like really happy to be asked. So that was pretty exciting.
Great.
Cool.
Okay, so for our next meeting, then everyone will come up with and research 2 ideas. And then we can look at these and put together a budget and request some, you know, prioritize them and request some funds.
Mhm.
That sound good?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. The other thing that we will be discussing next time is adding an additional position to the Recreation Committee. However, what we learned is that you have to have an odd number. So if we can't add 1 person, we can add 2 people. So that is on the agenda for next time, is whether or not we want to add 2 additional positions to the committee. So that's just something to be thinking about between now and our next meeting.
And an anecdote to that is you can add the 2 positions, but if nobody is there to fill a second one, it's just a position that's waiting to be filled. And
Oh, okay.
many of our committees in town do not have
Oh.
are not full committees,
Oh,
but we
okay.
function.
Can we
Okay.
vote on it today or not because it wasn't on the agenda?
It wasn't on the agenda. No, we'll vote on it next time. We had so many things on the agenda that I didn't know how much time it would take. I bumped that one off to the next meeting.
Mhm.
Okay. I think it would be good to get, I'd really love to get somebody who's a young farmer on our committee, or
Maybe
Um,
Zoe.
maybe Zoe. Does she live in Shutesbury?
She just, yeah, they're in Shutesbury.
Oh, I think we should ask her.
Okay. That sounds great.
Yeah, that would be great to have somebody who really knows what they're doing. But also the age factor. I think it just
Yeah.
really would be nice to have somebody young. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I will wait until after well, actually, I won't wait until after we've had the vote. If I happen to run across her, I will not seek her. I will not seek her out. I won't call her or email her. But if I
Right.
happen to pass her again, if she's out when I'll just kind of
when you're
say, oh,
stalking her while you're
what-
walking down the road.
yeah, well, I'm stalking her.
Uh,
Well, that would be another nice field trip for the committee, would be to go to that farm.
Yeah.
It's especially in the spring once there's all the baby goats, because they're just achingly cute.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so,
she might have a lot of good advice if we want to get a composting system going.
oh my goodness, yes.
She would
Oh,
be a
yeah.
really good resource, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Okay.
So I think that's it, unless there's other things anybody has.
So here's a
Okay.
question, Barbara. You're going to post a meeting for November 30th at 3:00, and we'll hopefully walk, but if we can't, will we still meet at that time anyway?
No, what, oh, yeah, but let's clarify. My understanding of it was that Elaine is going to find out whether or not we can have a walking meeting. And if we can, then I will post it for 3:00 at the parking lot of Ames Pond. And if we can't, then what I would like to do would be to post it for, say, 4:30. That gives us time to have our walk, get home, get on Zoom, or 4:45.
Okay.
That sound good?
We can actually meet downstairs in the town hall.
Well, let's do that. Perfect. Then we can just go straight over. Yeah.
Yep.
Apparently the Eric's, yeah.
I'm confused.
Oh,
The 30th,
too.
you guys said 2:45 at the post office.
right, 2:45 at the post office.
Yep, we're gonna drive over in silence to the
Right.
to the pond. No, we can't really have a meeting until anybody else who wants to be there can. So driving over there, we can't talk anything. I mean, we can talk, but we can't talk about committee stuff. And so if it's our meeting, then we can talk about committee stuff during the walk. If it's not our meeting, then we can walk, but we can't do committee stuff until we can be at a place that other people can join us.
So Elaine will find out whether we can have a walking meeting, in which case I will post it as 3 o'clock, because that's what time we'll convene at the parking lot for Ames
But
Pond.
we'll be at the town hall at 2:45.
Right. And if we cannot have a walking meeting, then I will post the meeting for 4:30 at town hall.
That's good.
Okay?
Yep.
God, I was so sleepy for so long, and then boom, all of a sudden it's not sleepy anymore. Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
very good.
Okay, thank you all very, very much.
Thank you,
And
Barbara.
oh, does someone need to move to end the meeting before I stop the recording?
I move we end.
Okay, and show of hands, okay. All right,